Mahkamah telah pun memutuskan mengenai dengan tuntutan Sabah 40% ini. Kecuali ada beberapa perkara yang difikirkan mengenai dengan ayat-ayat keputusan mahkamah tersebut akan di-challenge atau dirayu oleh mereka.
Tanpa rayuan ini bermakna hukuman ke atas kerajaan di bawah pimpinan Tun Razak, Kerajaan Persekutuan sejak 1974, semua anggota kerajaan dan Tun Datuk Mustafa, Tun Fuad Stephens sejak 74 di Sabah, semua kerajaan, semua parti yang terlibat.
For nearly 6 decades, Sabah's 40% revenue entitlement has been a major point of contention between the state and federal governments. Now, a court ruling may have changed everything. So, what exactly does Sabah's 40% claim involve? In simple terms, 40% of all net federal revenue collected from Sabah is supposed to be returned to the state. This entitlement stems from the Malaysia Agreement 1963 and is written into Article 112C of the Federal Constitution, a fundamental condition Sabah set when Malaysia was formed. The last review was conducted in 1969 and gazetted in 1970, but a mandatory review scheduled for 1974 never took place. Following a judicial review by the Sabah Law Society, the Kota Kinabalu High Court on October 17th upheld the validity of the state's 40% revenue claim and ordered the federal government to begin the assessment process within 90 days. It also ordered both parties to conclude a new agreement within 180 days. Within days of the court ruling, the Sabah government, led by Chief Minister Hajiji Noor, was moving to recover what is due to the state. On November 7th, Gabungan Rakyat Sabah's Presidential Council declared the 40% entitlement a constitutional right that must be respected and urged Putrajaya not to appeal the High Court's ruling. On November 11th, the Attorney General's Chambers announced that Putrajaya would not appeal the 40% ruling and that the government intends to begin negotiations with Sabah immediately. However, the AGC said it would appeal part of the judgment which found that both the federal and Sabah governments had violated their constitutional obligations dating back to 1974. In the Dewan Rakyat, Anwar defended the AGC's decision.
Apakah kerajaan boleh berdiam bila dikatakan kita telah bertindak unconstitutional sejak 74? Satu. Apakah boleh dia tafsir, boleh kita diam dan tidak membatalkan atau expunge rekod yang menyatakan illegal, irrational, procedurally improper or disproportionate? Ini belum pernah berlaku dalam keputusan mahkamah sebegitu keras dan melibatkan seluruh pembuah kerajaan sejak dahulu.
The Prime Minister stressed that while the government has no intention of challenging Sabah's 40% entitlement, inaccurate statements in the judgment must be corrected.
Saya tidak mahu ini jadi polemik politik dalam soal 40%. Kerana itu tidak dirayu. Tetapi kenyataan-kenyataan yang kita anggap tidak selaras dan tidak tepat harus dirayu.
For his part, Hajiji has welcomed the move.
Ini proses biasa undang-undang. Kita to be fair to kerajaan persekutuan. Mana yang mereka fikirkan buat rayuan, maka mereka dibenarkan dalam undang-undang.
He reiterated that the 40% entitlement is rooted in MA 63 and tied directly to Sabah's development.
Jadi hasil daripada pemberian 40% ini nanti kita akan gunakan sepenuhnya untuk membangun kawasan luar bandar, juga membangun ekonomi Sabah, termasuklah kepentingan-kepentingan yang lain.
Anwar and Hajiji are of the same view. If the 40% issue is to progress, Sabah-Putrajaya relations must remain strong.
Kalau ada kegelisahan yang menusabah, kita harus dengar dan cuba selesaikan. Cari kerajaan negeri yang ambil sikap yang agak lebih positif. Jadi rundingan itu lebih baik dan lebih cepat.
Hajiji echoed the same message.
Saya yakin rakyat Sabah akan mengingati beliau sebagai seorang Perdana Menteri yang prihatin kepada negeri Sabah. Kerana sebelum-sebelum ini, isu ini ditimbulkan, dia tidak ada lagi soal perbincangan ini disenyapkan begitu saja. Jangan kerana kita menuntut sesuatu, kita renggangkan, keruhkan hubungan kita dengan kerajaan persekutuan.
Kita ambil hasil 10 bilion. Kita bagi balik 17 bilion ringgit.
That statement by the Prime Minister has sparked debate because it makes it appear that Sabah is already receiving more than it contributes. But the 40% claim isn't about federal allocations. It's about Sabah's right to manage its own revenue. The 17 billion ringgit is money controlled by Putrajaya, while the 40% is money Sabah wants to control itself. Sabah argues that it understands local needs best and that the funds can be used more effectively when managed by the state itself.
Negeri Sabah adalah satu negeri yang agak besar. Jadi kalau kita pergi ke kawasan-kawasan pedalaman, keadaannya masih lagi. Jalan raya kampungnya masih tidak berturap, jambatan kampung belum lagi dibina, ada yang belum mendapat bekalan elektrik luar bandar. Jadi hasil daripada ini kita akan bangunkan negeri Sabah ini untuk faedah rakyat kita.
Federal revenue in 2024 was approximately 261.9 billion ringgit. Some 16.6 billion ringgit came from Sabah. If the 40% revenue formula is fully implemented, Sabah could receive several billion ringgit annually compared to the roughly 813 million ringgit it currently gets. The courts have clarified the law. Putrajaya has acknowledged Sabah's right. Sabah is ready to negotiate. Yet, the 40% entitlement will only materialize if both parties bring to the table what no court can compel: genuine sincerity. Natasha Bust, FMT.